we are recording right now the first episode of season 2. I'm so excited to be sitting down today with Ashlee McCooch. She owns Ashlee Emerson Photography and also Poppy and Prim. Why don't you start by giving us your Instagram and a website where people can contact you, and then we'll get to it.
Yeah, absolutely. My website is super easy. It's just ashleeemersonphotography.com. My Instagram is the same. I made it really easy for everybody.
That is easy.
It's poppyandprim.events for Instagram.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right. So the podcast is Conversations and Cocktails, but we're having coffee because it's fairly early in the day. And so we're just, enjoying our coffee instead of cocktails. So I always like to warn my guests that at the end of the podcast, because it is Conversations and Cocktails, I'm going to ask you to give me a signature cocktail or a signature drink, something that, and it could be a mocktail, it could even be, it could be some kind of a latte, that's totally fine. Something that you feel just embodies who you are, it's like your brand, just your business in general, the whole vibe of it. So just leave that there and think about it and we'll come back to it.
Sounds great.
Okay. All right. So I want to start with, how did you wind up getting into, let's talk about the photography aspect of you as a business owner first. How did you get into that?
So I have been into photography since I can literally had a camera in my hand for forever. I just really like the stories behind photos. When you're little and you're in your grandparents' house and you're like, oh, who's that? And you're pointing the pictures and they're telling you these magical stories of oh, we were at a cocktail dinner with our best friends, and they just go so in depth. It's just so fun. So then you just get to hear those forever.
When you were trying to come up with the name of your business, what made you settle on, I'm going to name this business after me?
It was hard, actually. So I went through a lot of names, go for a camera related name, Shutter Up, or something camera related. And I hated all of them. Okay. And then I thought about maybe first and last name, because fun fact for all of you listening, I know a lot of you think it, but Emerson is not my last name. It's not my maiden name. It's actually my middle name.
Nice.
So I was I don't want to name it after my last name because I know eventually I'll get married. And then I'd have to change my business name.
Smart.
And I didn't want to have to deal with that. So I went with Ashlee Emerson. It just sounds really good.
Yeah, I love it.
Emerson's also my uncle's middle name, so we share a middle name. Okay. He unfortunately passed away.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. So it's kind of after him as well.
Yeah, I love that.
Thanks.
That's a legacy.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. So I know that a lot of the women in the event space that I've interviewed, they had careers prior to getting into the events industry. And I've talked about it, probably in every episode. I was a teacher. I taught high school English. What is your journey? How did you wind up? I know that you've always liked photography, even as a child, but what was that moment for you? What were you doing before it? And what was the moment where you're I've got to do this. I've got to get into photography?
I was in nursing.
Oh, wow.
Actually. Okay. So did that in high school and college and after college. And I was doing photography the entire time.
Nice.
I started my professional photography journey my senior year of high school for some of the families I nannied for, which was really fun. Now they're all graduating and I feel really old. Cool. And I'm taking their grad pics. But yeah, so through nursing school, I did all photo to help pay for school.
Smart.
And then I was working in a dermatology clinic for the last 5 years before I went full time. Mm-hmm. And then I went part-time right after my wedding. And then I was just you know what? I'm too busy. I love this practice, but I have to do what's best for me.
Right.
I still see them all the time. They're still my personal dermatologist. Shout out to you, Dr. Burke, if you're ever going to listen to this. But yeah, he actually hires me once a year for a work event that he puts on. Yeah. So still really good. No bad turmoil between us. So
yeah,
it's really nice.
Nice. I feel like it's an appropriate time. We're sitting at Warcell Manor, which is a wedding venue in Maryland.
Yes.
And
right outside Middletown.
I've never been here. It's stunning. It's gorgeous. And we're sitting in this beautiful parlor surrounded by antique furniture and knickknacks, and it's fantastic. I know that you also are a coordinator and you do social media and marketing for them. Tell me about how you got involved in that.
Yeah, so it kind of fell in my lap, just coincidentally.
That's the best. That's the best when that happens.
It is the best. My best friend is a planner here and coordinator here, and they just need someone to help with social media, and then it evolved into so much more because I was like, oh, I can just do their socials from my couch, essentially, and now I do everything. I'm technically the venue director.
Nice.
So I manage our staff here. I tour prospective brides and grooms. I am here day of wedding if I don't have my other weddings somewhere else. I am our preferred photographer here and one of our preferred planners, so sometimes they hire me for those. It's just a really all-encompassing time being here because I can have all of my businesses in one place.
Yeah, I really like that. I was going to ask you if you shoot a lot of weddings here.
I do. Okay. I shoot a lot of weddings here, and I don't hate that. I know some people don't like going to the same venue all the time. Right. It's super nice for here because I know it inside and out from like your contract to how you want your wedding to look.
Absolutely.
So I know all the ins and outs, which makes it nice. I know all like the little hidden places for photos,
all the
things
best
like
spots.
That. Yeah. So I have had a couple May weddings here, and then I have some summer weddings that I'm planning for here, and then a lot of fall weddings I'm photographing here.
Okay. All right. So what would you say, I know that you've been everywhere and you travel too. I've seen that on your socials.
I do.
What makes this place special?
The family environment that they provide here. So it's really mom and pop. It's not like a big corporate institution for weddings.
Yeah, like a hospitality group or something.
It's not really like a wedding factory, as we like to call them. Like, we're not pumping them out.
Gotcha.
We really pride ourselves on doing one wedding a weekend for the most part. So you usually get the venue the entire weekend, which is really nice. Sometimes we do just a single day, but all of our staff is focused on you. You get to set up, you get to take down, you get the whole weekend to hang out. You're not rushed, which is my favorite part.
Yeah, sounds wonderful.
Yeah, you don't have to come in at 8 a.m. and then leave by 10 or 11. You get the whole weekend, so... Yeah, we're very attentive to our clients here. We really focus on you and like your wants and your needs.
That's great.
Yeah.
So let's segue to Poppy and Prim.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So I've been planning weddings for probably at least 10 years based off just my photography clients. Like, they're always just like, hey, Ash, do these colors look good together? Like, hey, can you help me with this? And it just kind of stemmed from there. I obviously planned my own wedding 4 years ago, which is insane to say.
Did you get married here?
No, we got married down the road. So my best friend's brother actually got married here the same day we got married. So we did not get married here.
Okay.
But similar venue, actually. The person that built this plot of land built our wedding venue as well.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so they're kind of connected that way. So kind of similar, very historic.
Okay.
But yeah, I planned my wedding and then friends' weddings. And then when I started here, I've had some brides and grooms that were like, oh, we already have a photographer, but we really would love you to help plan our wedding and like be there day of to coordinate everything. And I was like, I guess I have to finally start a business. So that's how Poppy and Prim came about. It's 2 flowers, so the poppy and the primrose. So Poppy is August's birth flower, and then Primrose is February's birth flower.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that you work with your husband sometimes.
I do.
So you're both photographers. So my husband, he has his own career, and then he helps me tremendously.
He's great.
He really is. He helps me so much, but it's more of a logistics, help me move this kind of thing. What is that like when you're actually like shooting something, an event with your husband?
It honestly works out great. Everything's in-house. I don't have to worry about where my SD cards are going at the end of the night. I don't have to worry about a second shooter taking them and never giving them back to me. He also, knows what I need him to do and when he needs to do it. So I'm not constantly having to like micromanage him. Like, it's great. So, or he can be with like the groom and the groomsmen while they're getting ready. That way, like a female doesn't have to worry about it. It's super great. He loves it. It kind of started for us to be able to spend some more time together because he's a personal trainer. So he's at work during the day, and usually by the time he's coming home, I'm probably leaving to go to a client or something like that. And then he's off on the weekends, and that's when I'm working. Yeah. So we wouldn't see each other a whole lot if he didn't.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you enjoy each other's time?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the key.
That is the key. Yeah, you can't hate your husband.
No.
And you got to work well together.
Yeah.
But.
So I want to start kind of like getting into, because you've you've got two businesses, and then you also have your role here at the venue. Let's talk about just from the perspective of being a business owner.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that have come up since you started business? Maybe things that you weren't even anticipating.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, starting a business in general is a challenge.
Scary.
It is scary, but also, like, I was 18 to 20, like, starting a brand new business.
That's young.
Yeah, and my parents weren't savvy in that. Like, they're not tech savvy. They're not, like, business people.
Right.
So, it's kind of just me figuring everything out on my own, which is fine. I mean, we all have to do that, but there was no one really to, like, guide me of, like, hey, this is what you need to get. This is all that. So, like, paying taxes and getting business licenses and business insurance, like, those are all important things that you need, but a lot of people don't know you need until you need it. Just gathering all that and knowing what you need to do is definitely a challenge for, like, starting out. And then just figuring out how to manage social media in general is always a challenge. I know you and I were just talking because Instagram's always changing. You just kind of have to figure it out. It's rough. It's rough out there.
It is. It is. So I do event decor, and when I'm working an event, you know, I'm interacting with other vendors like you, right? You know, like photographers or caterers or florists. Who are some of, and I don't need names, I just mean the role. Who are some of the easiest folks to work with, and who are some of the most challenging folks to work with?
Catering can be challenging.
Okay.
Because sometimes they have their own, like, coordinators. Yeah. Like, catering coordinators. So then they try to step into the wedding planner role, if that's, like, my role day of. Sure. So sometimes that can be a little difficult.
So many moving parts, too.
So many moving parts.
And so many people, right, with catering. It's a lot.
I mean, every vendor role is different, and it depends on that vendor as well. Yeah. I will say some of my favorites. I mean, I'll name drop them because I love them. You're one of them. I love working with you.
I love working with you.
Perfect. For DJs, I love DJ Lennox. Yeah. He's out of PA.
He is so great.
Yeah. I introduced you guys together.
You did,
He's
and
wonderful.
I love him.
So he did my wedding, and now he does almost all of my events. Yeah. He's fantastic. Obviously, Leah from the Party Heist. Love her. We work together all the time. Yeah. Literally, I can't.
That's how I met you, was through Leah.
Yeah, all the time. We're always together. Yeah. Cakery Bake, Melanie Rosh is one of my favorite bakers.
I'm interviewing her this.
That's so exciting.
I've met her, I think, once, maybe at a Pretty in Pink event. Yeah. I think it was once, maybe most twice. Likely. So I'm, looking forward to getting to know her a little bit.
Yeah, she does most of my Pretty in Pink events.
Okay.
But yeah, she's fantastic. She's actually done all of my desserts for the last, 6 or 7 years. Okay. Yeah, I'm actually picking up a cake from her this weekend for my best friend's birthday.
Oh, nice. Like I said, I do the event decor. The venue staff is so important to, how smooth load in is going to be, and just the flow of everything, and helping you as the vendor kind of coming into a place that you've maybe never been. I've been really lucky to work with some really great venue staff, even when their bosses, because it's multiple venues, even when they're difficult, the venue staff. So,
venue staff is definitely make or break. And they're also hit or miss.
Yes, right. And then sometimes it can be terrible. Yes. So that's a whole challenge to being in this business that I don't think I really anticipated. Yeah. You're so worried about yourself and what you're doing and making sure that your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted. Yes. And then you go to a venue and sometimes that, your plan doesn't work out because you're dealing with other vendors or the venue staff themselves.
Yes. Yeah. It's, like I said, it's very hit or miss, and you either get a great experience or you don't, unfortunately. And some, even vendors are definitely anti-other vendors, which is so strange. Yeah.
Why is that? Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I feel like Delaware in general is just interesting.
Is it because it's such a small state?
I think so. Yeah. I think I've attributed to us being so small that people are just not always the most friendly or welcoming. Yeah. And that's also why I'm always doing things like this and collabing with people and things like that, because I like to let other people who are trying to break into the industry know that we're not all scary.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that you were talking about, collaboration. You hear this and you see it too, all over social media, right? Collaboration over competition. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not so sure that everybody espouses that philosophy.
I mean, they don't, but to each their own. I mean, if you feel like you need to protect yourself in a way that it just doesn't make sense for you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, there's enough to go around. We might be a small state, but like,
Sure.
my photography isn't the same as the next person.
Right.
So like, I'm light and airy in fine art, and someone else might be dark and moody, and that's what someone might be attracted to. And I'm never going to be like, that's the end of the world. Like, there's someone out there for everybody.
Yeah. And that competition piece, right? To your point, this is a business and there is an element of self-preservation involved because you are running a business and you're in it to, make money and expand client base and book more gigs. It's always a challenge for me. I mean, I guess I'm a people person and I like to talk to people and I like to interact with folks and make friends. And I try to make sure that I'm genuine in my dealings with people. Yeah. But there is that line of you don't want to be taken advantage of. You want to collaborate. You want to be friendly, but you also don't want it to be at the expense of yourself and your own business. So that's a fine line to walk.
And you kind of have to dance on it sometimes.
I think so. Let me ask you a couple of quirky questions.
Yeah.
So if you're in the event planning business, if you had to plan an event for, I don't know, someone famous, it could be like past or present. Yeah. Who would that be?
I've never thought about this. I don't know. Maybe like a president's ball or something. I feel like that would be really fun. Like the gowns, the outfits. Yeah. Even like a Met Gala would be kind of fun. I just love the outfits.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Like the dressing up aspect is super fun. And maybe like a celebrity's wedding.
Okay.
That would end up in like Vogue or People.
Yeah.
I don't have a specific one.
Okay.
I don't know who.
Fair answer.
I'm the worst at pop culture too. My husband will tell you. So like, I don't know, like I'm a big Kelsey Ballerini fan. She's a country music artist. Okay. So like her next wedding to Chase Stokes would be great.
Yeah.
But I don't know if she'll get married. So I don't want to say like her wedding because she's recently divorced. So
okay.
No, I'm sure most people would be like Taylor Swift's wedding.
Yeah.
I'm not a Swiftie girl. I'm so sorry.
Not so much.
Don't come for me, friends. Yeah. I think maybe like a president's ball or a president's kid's wedding.
Yeah.
Or like just some wedding that would end up in like Vogue or People.
Okay. That sounds wonderful to me.
I know. Just like your wedding picture with like Vogue on the top of it.
Nice. Goals.
Literally goals.
Yeah. Thinking about like other female entrepreneurs and just, women in business, not necessarily events. Is there any particular businesswoman that you like really admire or look up to? It could be more than one. And again, it could be past or present.
Yeah. So local here in Delaware, Heather Nunnery with Delaware Female Creatives. Yeah. She has like a billion businesses, but Delaware Female Creatives is a nonprofit for women who are entrepreneurs. And it's a great space for us to connect with each other and collab and get to know each other and just make it not scary for women in business because it's hard out there for us. We're still making a name for ourselves. It's not easy for women still, even though it's 2025. And she also owns a Latina-owned skincare company that's based off of her grandmother and her recipes and things like that. And she's also a graphic designer.
Yeah.
So she does so much. But she recently helped me with my website and she does all of my ads.
Nice.
So yeah, if you ever see an ad out there, it's from Heather.
Her candles are amazing.
Yeah, they smell great.
I do. I stock up a couple times a year. I order a few of them.
Yeah,
from her.
They also, a lot of people really love her lotion bars.
Okay.
It's another one.
I'll have to try that. I haven't done that one yet.
It's good. I do love her candles a lot. Yeah. They're so good.
So that's a local person. Yeah. Any like celebrities or famous people?
Again, the pop culture. I'm not good at it. I wouldn't say so. I really try not to idolize celebrities too much in general, just because it's not realistic.
Yeah.
But I've always been that way. I've never been like die hard any celebrity. Sure. I don't know.
So I recently...
That's probably a really boring answer.
No, it's not. Sorry. No, it's honest. That's what we're doing here. Within the last few months, I saw the documentary on Netflix about Martha Stewart.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm so... there were so many things about her that I didn't know. But yeah, she was like in her 40s or 50s when she actually started this business that became huge. Yeah, I was so impressed by her.
I just love that she's like besties with Snoop Dogg.
I know, right? Isn't that weird?
It's so fun.
So weird and great at the same time.
I love it.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, this woman was not on my radar, and I would love to sit down and have a cup of coffee with her.
Yeah,
and pick her brain and just talk to her about how she built this empire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very fascinated. So it would be Martha Stewart for me.
I kind of forget about her sometimes.
Yeah, I know, right? I do. I had until I saw that documentary. Let's talk about like maybe disaster is that's a harsh word, but any event, let's just say disasters, any event disasters or even one that you can speak about and like how did you pivot and fix it and recover, which is a huge part of being in the events industry because things go wrong all the time.
We'll talk about my own wedding.
Okay, let's.
So it poured on my wedding day.
Oh, no.
Like legit monsoon. Like you could see the dust like swooping into the air, like insane. And as a wedding photographer, like the last thing you want is either one, to get married inside, or two, to get poured out on your wedding day.
Yeah.
Like, of course, like the wedding photographer would have rain on her wedding day, right? And they tell you it's good luck, but you really don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
So we actually had to move our ceremony up like 30 minutes. And like 90% of our guests did not see us get married.
Oh.
Because we were in like a sunken garden. And then like our tent was like up here. So we were like, if you are wanting to get rained on, like come down, like if you're willing. And if not, FaceTime someone who's down here.
Yeah.
Which was fine. Like it worked out, but like you just kind of have to be prepared for those moments. Like rain was not on the radar for our wedding. It kind of came out of nowhere. And that's really something you have to be prepared for, at least on the Eastern Shore. And even on the East Coast, like our weather changes minutes in advance.
Right.
Like North Delaware is not the same as South Delaware. Like it could be 10 degrees colder down there. It could be raining up north and not down south. You just kind of have to play into the weather. But one thing we definitely had to work on for our wedding was just like going with the flow and like figuring it out. And we were just like, it is what it is at this point.
I had an event one time and they rented this champagne wall.
Ooh.
They wanted it in a certain location.
Yeah.
And, you know, my husband and I said, it's not going to fit there. It's just not, it's not possible per the dimensions. So we're going to put it here. Don't touch it once we build it because we know how our builds work. And, you know, when we build something, it's quality. But when we set it up, we want it left there. So I go about my business decorating some other aspects of the inside part. And somebody tells me that half of it fell because it was like two big pieces. Yeah. Because somebody tried to lift it and move it. And they shifted everything off of the brackets. Yeah. And that was, I remember, and this was fairly early on in starting the business. I remember just saying to my husband, like, I'm not doing this. Like this is a sign. Yeah. This is a sign. I'm not doing it. The other part of it was like the customer service aspect. I am 99.998% certain that somebody tried to move this even though we said not to, but it doesn't negate the fact that now half of this wall is not usable. Yeah. So what I did was I wound up refunding half of the money, even though I know it was not my fault. Yeah. And instructions were not followed. Yeah. Talk to me about, I guess, the importance of customer service. Yeah. Dealing with, they weren't difficult because no one admitted fault. For sure. You know, but sometimes you do have those clients where it's challenging to work with them. Like, how do you as a business owner, how do you handle situations like that? Yeah, I mean, definitely in my early days, I feel like you just kind of have to work towards your ideal client to where those things happen less. Yeah. And that's with like communication with them, making sure you guys are a right fit together. But definitely in your earlier days when you're not charging what you probably shouldn't, like lower than what you should be charging or things like that. And when you're just starting and you'll take anything. Sure. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate all my early on clients. Oh yeah, 100%. To death. I mean, I wouldn't be here without them. But yeah, you just kind of have to work on communication. That's the biggest thing. And then if something goes wrong, even if it's not your fault, just own it. Yeah. Just own it because you don't want them to have a tainted experience around their wedding or event or whatever it is. So just being able to admit that, you know, that might have not have been my best work or something went wrong or I'll refund you or like at least partial. You want to just
how can
make
I
sure.
Fix?
Yeah.
Like,
how can I find fix it?
And I'm a fixer. Like that's just my personality. Like if there's a problem, I'm going to do my best to fix it. Like I don't want you to be unhappy. And I think every business owner should feel that way because I know a lot of business owners are always like, oh, the customer isn't right. I'm right. It's my business. But like, I feel like we've all been raised to a point to think that the customer is always right. And to a point they are. And then sometimes you have to stand your ground in business.
Or like sometimes the customer's not right, but you don't let them know that, you know? You make sure that they think they're right.
Yes, yeah.
Which is, to your point, like that's the front face of your business and your customer service.
Yeah. And I mean, customer service, I feel like is one thing that we might not be prepared for to encounter in business too. Like going back to a previous question, because, you know, you start out like, oh, I'll just capture some photos for people. And now like, you're like, oh, I have to talk to these people and I have to like market to these people. So I feel like that's probably an unexpected thing as well. Like having to be in such deep communication with people.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And to have answers. Like all of the answers. I feel like especially in the beginning, there's a lot of fake it till you make it.
Oh, 100%.
And then you kind of learn how to fix better.
Yes. And like how to talk to people better. I mean, because we're all starting out, like we've never owned a business before. Right. So you're like trying to figure out how to be like corporate, but like not corporate and still be relatable, but not too relatable.
Yes.
Again, the fine line of like dancing on it of like, got to figure out like the exact right way to go about things.
Yeah, for sure. You brought up pricing and I want to talk about that because I know that it's and I think it's pretty universal. I mean, I'll go out on a limb and say that, but pricing is always, until fairly recently, because I've been doing this now for 5 years, but in the beginning, especially finding the right pricing, the formula.
Oh, it's rough.
Yeah. How did you manage that? And maybe like, does that look a little different for you now that you've been doing this for so long?
Yes.
Like, talk to me about that.
Shoot. I think my first wedding, I charged $300.
Wow.
For like a full day.
Wow.
So, I mean, I definitely don't charge that now.
Yeah, no, nor should you.
But yeah, in the beginning, I was doing like $20 sessions or like $25 sessions. And like, slowly increasing it. But a lot of it was just like figuring it out as I go. Like I said, I didn't really have like a mentor or like guidance or things like that because I started so young and I didn't really know a lot of people in the industry. And like now when you look at the industry, there's so many, at least photographers that are like, oh, like I'm a photography educator, or like I'm doing that kind of thing. And I was like, oh, well, where was this 10 years ago?
Yeah, could have used that.
Could have probably used that for sure. But yeah, kind of just figuring out what works best and then slowly like raising my prices. Some photographers raise their prices every 6 months.
Okay.
I do not do that. I haven't raised my prices in quite some time. And that's partially due to the economy. I don't want to be too exuberantly expensive for people. I still want to be semi-affordable, but still within the luxury market. But yeah, I started out very, very cheap and inexpensive and doing a lot of free sessions. Yeah. I feel like we all do that though. A lot of free things.
Yes.
But yeah, you kind of just slowly work up like, oh, maybe raise it like $10 here, like for weddings, maybe like $100 or $200 here and like see how it goes. Yeah. And then once you book one, I know a lot of photographers also think this way, like once you book one or a couple and then you can raise it again and see where you're comfortable at. And then if you're not booking at like the bigger rate, drop it down a little bit.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. But I mean, that's how you stay in business.
For sure.
Paying attention to those fluctuations, especially in like the marketplace. I wanted to ask you about business practices, and this kind of like piggybacks off of the conversation with like pricing. You always hear people talking about your prices should reflect your worth, right? There's always that. Like, how much is my time worth? Am I undercutting myself, right? And it's always, and then you have people say, well, you're too expensive.
Yes.
I want to talk about like a business practice that maybe is considered bad, or I don't even know if that's the right term, maybe controversial, a business practice maybe you're not supposed to have, that is a business practice that works for you and you're not willing to change that.
I don't know.
I had a woman one time tell me, she's not just a woman. I mean, she's a phenomenal business owner, but she is also a woman. She told me, raise your prices. And I was like, what? Like, why would I want to raise my prices? She's like, I know it sounds controversial. She said, but you should raise your prices. And if you raise your prices, you'll start attracting some of the clients that you do want to work with. And you're always going to have folks that they just say you're out of price range, and that's okay. There's different price points and people that, offer services at different price points. And I mean, she was right. When I raised my prices a bit, I actually did wind up getting more business, and more of the clients that I wanted to work with and wanted to work with me. So like when I think about a business practice that seems, I don't know, a little counterintuitive, that's what I think about. Raising prices that will bring in more people. You would think it would do the opposite.
I mean, I definitely do that. I mean, like I said, I have raised my prices in some aspects in the last couple of years, but haven't fully like exuberantly raise them just because the economy is interesting right now. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, when you go from like a lower market and then raise your prices, you do tend to attract more of your ideal client. So you kind of also have to price yourself in the market that you want to be in.
True.
Which sounds crazy. Because like if you're like, oh, well, should I be cheaper to get more?
Right.
But then again, you don't also like for the wedding industry, I don't want to do 100 weddings a year. So if I was only charging $1,000 per wedding, I'd have to do like 100 weddings a year.
That's a really good point. Yeah, the lower the prices, the more you need to work.
The more you need to
make
work.
up for the money that you're not bringing in. That's a good point.
Yeah, that is a big one. So depending on how much you want to work or how less you want to work, you price yourself according to that. But also, the less weddings I have, the more attention I can give to those clients. So if I had 100 weddings at $1,000, you're not getting all of me. But at a higher price point, you definitely get a lot more of me because I have more of myself to give to you.
That makes sense. We were talking before we started actually recording about just like accessibility. How much accessibility do we allow clients to have, right? And there's a difference between someone, and we were talking about this, reaching out via DM. You don't really know them yet. They're not necessarily clients, right? They're not booked with you. You're not having those, okay, your event is happening and I'm your vendor conversations yet. Once they kind of cross over and now they're clients and you're doing their event, how do you navigate not being, because this is sometimes I think people think it's a bad business practice to be too accessible.
Oh, well, then that's my bad business
clients.
practice.
And I feel like it is for me too, because I am always texting with my clients or on the phone. And for me, I feel like it's a positive. How do you feel about that?
I don't care. Like I'm always going to be accessible for my clients. So yeah, that is my bad business practice. We found it. My biggest thing, and all my brides will tell you this because I tell them this, the first conversation we have, I don't want them to feel alone in the planning process because wedding planning can be very isolating and lonely because not all your friends are getting married at the same time or no one's going to be as excited as you are for your own wedding, except for me. I'll be very excited about it. You can text me whenever. I mean, if you text me at 1:00 in the morning, I'm probably not going to reply until I wake up. I used to be bad about that. If a text message woke me up, I would answer it.
Yeah. I'm still there. Like if I get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, which, I'm getting older, so it happens a lot. And I see a text at 2 a.m, it is a little bit of a struggle for me not to pick up the phone and respond because that's my natural inclination. And I used to do that with my students too. Yeah. If they wrote me an email in the middle of the night. So I hear that.
I used to be like that probably up until a year or two ago. Okay. So it's very recent that I'm working on boundaries.
Yeah, but that's fair, right? Yes, you do have to have boundaries.
I'm working on them. They're not very strict, but I am working on them. But yeah, I do give them accessibility to me whenever they need it. So if you need a phone call, I always say just text me first. Right. Just text me if you need to call me.
I feel like people prefer that. Sometimes when I'm like, hey, and I don't push this often because I'm a big texter. Yeah, I mean, same. I can have a very thorough conversation in text. And it's the equivalent
as the other
of
person is like a good communicator back. Yes. There are some people where I'm like, let's just have a phone call.
I don't think people want to talk much though today.
It really depends on the person. Okay. It really depends. Some people are phone call people and then sometimes it just needs to happen in a phone call because you can't get it through in text or if it's just like way too much. Or if you catch me while I'm driving. I will always call you when I'm driving.
Yeah, that's a good time.
That is a good time. But yeah, if you need to text me, if you need to call me, if you need to email me, I'm very fast at replying to a fault probably.
Yeah, same.
But it's good business practice.
Yeah.
This is another business tip for all you people listening. The faster you reply to someone, the more likely they are to book you.
Ooh, that is a great tip.
Yeah, that I have learned. Honeybook's also really great about that.
Okay.
So I send out a questionnaire as soon as you inquire. So it's like, the date you're wanting and the vision you have for your session and how many people are attending and if you have any pets. By the way, please bring your pets to all your sessions with me. I want to pet all the dogs. All of them, please. I will never be sad that you brought your dog, but I will be sad that you didn't. But yeah, I prefer to ask the questions, get to know them a little bit better before the full booking process, unless I've worked with you a billion times.
Marketing. So I know that you do the social media and the marketing for Warcell. Yeah. That's always I just feel like that's a struggle. It's
for sure
how to market, who are you marketing it to? And you can read a bajillion online articles and, you know, some of them say the same thing. Sometimes you're getting opposite advice in one article than what you just read in another. So I know it can be challenging. What do you think works best for you for your business? What is the kind of content that you feel gets you the most, it's not even about likes and views, but just rate of return? People will actually book with you.
It really depends on the time of day you post.
Okay.
For interaction and things like that, which is crazy. So like there are better times of the day to post than anything. I use Planoly to like schedule out my content.
Okay.
Because
is this a website? Is this an app?
It's like an app.
Oh, okay.
And it also has a website. So you can either do it like from your phone or from your computer. But
is it linked to your Instagram?
And Facebook.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah,
okay.
I love this because you best believe I do not have time to sit there every single day.
It's like
and
it is a
photo.
job. I mean, I know you do this.
It is a job.
Yeah.
It is a job, but it's also hard when I have my boudoir Instagram, my personal Instagram that's very neglected, my Poppy and Prim Instagram. I have a new Instagram for branding.
Okay.
So just for like business owners for headshots and branding and things like that. And then my Facebook.
Yeah.
And then Morcel's Instagram and Facebook. So there's just a lot. So I use an app, at least for my things, to like post it out there, and it tells you best time of day to post and things like that. And don't hate on ChatGPT, friends, because
I know
ChatGPT helps.
It does. And I mean, there's a use. There's a use for it.
There is. I mean, like, don't obviously just like copy and paste like whatever they give you, because then you could tell it's like ChatGPT. But like if you're like stuck on captions, that's like the main thing I use it for.
Same.
Just to help me. I have a copywriter for a reason.
Yeah. You're busy.
I am busy, but I pay Chaos Coordination, Amanda Russell, to write my website copy for me because I don't do that.
Yeah.
That is not my forte. That is her forte. That's why we all have different businesses.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes you just need a little help.
Yeah, for sure. I always struggle with like what content to post. I feel like I went through a period of time at the beginning where I just posted
everything.
Yeah, and just like events and like pictures of products that we have or rentals, not much of myself. I started, which I thought was surprising to me, when I started posting a little bit more of me.
This is my favorite thing to talk about.
I feel like the feedback I was getting from clients, it was more, and they were like, I feel like I know you from looking at your Instagram or your stories. And that was, it was
this
a positive.
This is a big marketing thing. Okay. So when you attach your face to your business, people feel more comfortable buying from you because they're buying from you. They're not buying from a wall or like a backdrop or something like that. They are attaching your face to your business and becoming more comfortable and confident with that, because a person would rather buy from someone else than a business that they don't know. Yeah. So that is a really big important thing to do with your social media and your brand in general. There are some faceless brands and it works for them, but the more you attach yourself to your business, the more likely you are to get more customers. Yeah. And the more comfortable your clients are with you. Yeah. This is my favorite thing to like tell other business owners. I'm in a business networking group.
I never knew it. Yeah. I just happened to stumble on it by accident.
Yeah. I tell them all the time, because these individuals are a lot older than me and they don't post a lot on their socials, or they don't post themselves a lot on their socials. Like some of them are landscapers and like the guys in the industry, you know, they're not going to be posting selfies and things like that. But the more you attach an actual physical human being to a business, the more likely you are to succeed, which is crazy because, I mean, I put on real close today to do this podcast and most of the time you don't want to do that. Yeah. Like, it's hard putting on makeup and doing your hair and looking good to get on socials every day. Yeah. Because, like, I mean, you're the best at it. You're always liking and commenting and sharing.
I try to be supportive.
I love it. I always know when I get a notification, I'm like, oh, it's Anne. I was like, I love this. I get the fire emoji today. Perfect. But yeah, it's a lot. And like being prepared to like put your face out there is scary.
It is.
But just do it. Yeah. I go on TikTok a lot with like no makeup, no whatever, because it's real life. I know. It's real life. I'm not going to sit there and put on some mascara for a 5-second video. Yeah.
And that's not reality. Like that's not reality. Where you are every day. That's not what's happening every day behind the scenes.
I'm literally behind my computer, staring at it hunched over, editing your photos. I need to post a picture like that. Like the other day, I had just gotten out of the shower. My hair was up in like a turban, drying. And I was like, you know those like TikToks where it's like, this is who you think you're emailing. And this is who you're actually emailing. I'm like, if only you guys knew.
Yeah. But you know what? And I think it's really refreshing for the clients too, to see a real person. But also as a fellow business owner, it's nice to see that everybody else isn't perfect,
for sure.
you know, and that there's a vulnerability there, because that's what I'm feeling as a business owner.
Yes.
I don't always feel perfect or always put together.
No.
Yeah.
The one thing about me is you're always going to get 100% honesty. Like I'm never going to lie to you.
Yeah.
Ever, to a fault. It's like my personality in general. Like I'm not going to lie. So you are always going to get the honest truth with me. And that's why thing. I'm never faking it on social media. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm not posting like the worst of the worst. Sure. But like you're never going to catch me ugly on social media. Like I'm not going to show up in like sweatpants, but like I'm never going to like fake it. Yeah. To be like, oh, everything's peachy, or like, this is how I look every day. Because I don't. Yeah.
Some days are definitely better than others. I've had it where, you know, clients will like, are you going to be there at the setup? And I'm like, well, yes, because I'm the business. The setup. So I am the setup. And as soon as I see them, they're hugging me as if we know each other. Yeah. And it's just from our interactions on text or on the phone, if that happens, and them getting to know me through social media. It's just wild.
Yeah, I also like when other vendors put their faces out there, because then when I meet them at the event, I actually know who it is.
Oh, right. I've had that happen many times.
So many.
I follow them, love their stuff. We've talked online or on, I'm showing Insta my besties. Age, on social media.
Yeah, I mean online. I say the same.
Yeah, I've never seen their face, and it's like, oh, that's who you are.
Yeah, they're come up to me like, oh, I'm so-and-so. And I'm like,
really?
Oh,
okay.
Cool. Yeah. It like takes me a minute because they like know who I am, because they know my face. And then they're like, oh, well, I'm this and that. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't immediately recognize you. But like you never show up on like socials. Like I just see, like if it's a florist, I just see your flowers, which are stunning. But like, I don't know what your face looks like. Exactly. I'm so sorry.
So showing your face being important to building your business brand, letting people, you know, see you, clients, as well as the people in the industry that you work with is important. What would you say are some other like really good tips that you would give women in business?
Interacting with your clients. So like you can't just post and ghost. Yeah. We call it the post and ghost. Okay. At least I'm calling it that. You can't just post and then like leave. Yeah. Like you kind of have to like comment, share. Like I said, you're great at that. I love when I'm like, oh, champagne and stars? My fave. I love interacting with you. And it feels good. Yeah. Like I know how it feels to receive it. So I like to give it.
And you do. And I appreciate you.
But yeah, like the liking, commenting, sharing, interacting with people's stories. Because I feel like stories are really big right now. Because like, I feel like that's what most people flip through during the day. Like you're just kind of like looking through all the stories.
And I'm interested. I'm like, oh, I want to see. Yeah. I want to see what they're up to today.
Yeah. Like I just posted on my story this morning. I have branding photos on Thursday. Nice. I need someone to dress me. It's my least favorite activity. I'll dress you all day long. Right. Or like any of my clients. When it comes to myself, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what to wear. I'll show up in like a t-shirt and jeans. That's it. But yeah, I would say interacting, it's a big one. And then just like hanging out with like your clients. Like don't just be the business. Like if they want to go get coffee with you, go get coffee with you. Like my brides and I, some of them have turned into my best friends. Yeah. My one bride from 2022, I think she got married the year after me, Alyssa, best friend now. Okay. I'm literally planning her baby shower for this August.
Love that.
So yeah, she has no social media, so she's never going to see this. Yeah, just like don't just be a business to your clients. Like be a person, like be relatable, because like back to showing your face, like you're not just a brand, like you are a human. Yeah. So be relatable, be human, be nice, be kind, be fun. Yeah. Just hang out with them.
Be nice. It's so simple.
Don't just be like a cardboard box.
And I think it's true with and you know, we were talking about the whole collaboration over competition. Just be nice to the vendors that you work with. I am so amazed because I'm not from Delaware. I mean, I'm from Pennsylvania. I've lived in Delaware for quite a while, but I just don't feel like a Delawarean. Some of the 6 degrees of separation.
Girl, it's insane.
It is deep. I mean, I'm like, oh, I could, you know, potentially bring up a name to you. And you're like, oh, I know her from, and she knows this person, or he knows. So you just never know who you're talking to and who they know. So especially being nice is important.
Especially in Delaware, because we are so small. Yeah. I've I'm not from here, but I grew up here basically my entire life.
Gotcha.
And it's like 1 degree of separation for me.
It's
like
6 is too much.
6 is too much.
You're right. It
like
is.
6 is too much for me sometimes because I'll meet them and perfect example. I did a maternity session at the Ivory, a new studio / event space in Dover. And she was one of the people I chose for like this maternity session because I was doing kind of like a giveaway type of thing to just get some more clients for that studio space. Because it's brand new. That way they have something to showcase. And we were talking and she's like, oh, yeah, my sister's getting married next month at XYZ venue. And I was just like, oh, keep talking. And I was like, I'm going to be there. I'm that sister's photographer. Like literally 1 degree of separation.
Wow.
And I would have never known it.
Yeah.
So that's like prime example. So I did the sister's maternity photos and I'm doing the other sister's elopement next weekend. Yeah, next weekend. So
yeah, you never know who knows someone else.
Nope.
Even if you're talking to a client, they might know another vendor that you've worked with and you start talking poorly about another vendor and here, they're very close. They're related.
Yeah.
You just have to be really careful about just running your mouth, I feel like.
Absolutely. You have to be very careful of what you say when you say it. And I feel like that's just in general. Yeah. Like, not even just business-wise, but...
For sure.
I mean, as we have discussed, we are so small.
Yeah.
So you never know who you're going to run into or what connections they have or what capabilities they have because any conversation you have in this state could change your life.
That's true. Yeah. And it just goes back to just be nice. You might have a certain...
kindness.
Yeah. You might have a certain opinion about someone. I'm not trying to take food off of their table by expressing my opinion. If somebody wants to work with them, that's great. More power to them. So sometimes you don't always need to make your opinions known. You can kind of like keep your own views to yourself.
Yeah. Unless it's going to directly affect them in a negative way. You don't have to.
I have another quirky question.
Yeah, I love these.
So
I love quirky questions.
So you've been in nursing.
Yeah.
You have your job here at Warcell. Yeah. You are an event planner. You are a photographer. And you also mentioned all of the different facets of photography that you're doing, like the family portraits, boudoir, branding. If you weren't doing any of that stuff, what else would you be doing?
I don't know.
No, you don't know?
I don't know because photography has been such like the only thing I've ever wanted to do. Okay. So like if you asked 8-year-old Ashlee like what she wanted to do like when she was older, wedding photographer. Okay. Like literally.
So you're living the dream. That's exactly what you wanted to do.
That's exactly what I wanted to do. It sounds crazy because everyone like from when I was little, my parents were like, that's not a real job or like that's not stable. Sure. So that's why I went into nursing. Nursing was my parents' dream for me. It wasn't my dream for myself. I love helping people as we have discussed.
Yes.
I very much a fixer, a helper. That's just me. But I was like, okay, nursing might be where it's at.
Yeah.
Okay. Terrible fear of dead bodies.
Kind of rough to be in the medical field.
Yeah, not for me. And then I was in dermatology. I love skin, love skincare, big skincare and sun care advocate. Nice. So please wear your sunscreen. But yeah, I don't know. I love makeup. So maybe like makeup artist. Definitely not hair. I'm not a hairstylist. Okay. I was interested in teaching at one point, but I don't know with how the world has been after COVID if I would.
Do not advise.
I don't think I would.
Which is a shame. I mean, I know. I loved it, But
I thought about it because I did some like school and daycare work when I was in high school and a little bit after. But yeah, probably something still artsy. Okay. Still very an artsy girl, but I can't draw for shit. So definitely not that. Definitely not like actual art.
Yeah, no, same. I can't.
Cannot.
Yeah. I think I'd like to own a bookstore.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, if I weren't doing this, and it still kind of fits with,
the vibes.
Me being an English teacher. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Bookstores are a bit of a dying breed. Depending on where you are, sometimes you see some really cute bookstores. But I think, ideal. If I weren't doing this, I'd like to own a really cute bookstore. Yeah. So are there things about you and your brand that you definitely know don't fit a certain aesthetic and like you refuse to incorporate that? Yeah. Even though it might be popular, but it just doesn't fit who you are and you're not going to do it.
So with photography, you kind of have to dabble in everything at least once to figure out if it works for you or not. Okay. But like my editing style, I will say, is like very like fine art, light and airy. The dark and moody does not fit my aesthetic. Fun fact, I was dark and moody probably 6 or 7 years ago. Yeah. Maybe even 5. I don't know.
Why the shift?
I actually had a client that really wanted to book me, and they only liked the light and airy style. And I was like, I'll give it a shot for you. And I tried it, and I really loved it. I was like, you know what? This feels right.
Yeah.
Dark and moody. It's just trendy for me. I don't know. I feel like it's also a mindset, the dark and moody mindset of like, I don't wear black all the time. Like, that's just not me. So I feel like when you were looking at that and then looking at me, they just didn't.
It doesn't mesh.
And now my brand is like light and airy and whimsical and romantic. And I feel like that more encompasses me as a person.
Yeah.
And my style and things like that. So it's more like timeless and it'll last forever. So I never want you to like look back on your photos and be like, oh, they look like too trendy or like it doesn't translate in like 10 years later. I still want you to be able to like look at your photos and be like, wow, like I could still,
it's relevant.
Yeah, it's still relevant. I could still use this today or like something like that. Obviously you're always going to still use your wedding photos, but I still want it to translate like years down the line.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I would say that's a big one. Another big trend was like the late night garbage photos.
What does that mean? I'm not in the biz.
No, you're fine. It's like the late night flat lay. So I'm like going around collecting like all the trash from tables.
Oh, really?
And like creating like a flat lay.
This was a thing?
It
is a thing.
I feel like last year it was really popular and I haven't really seen it this season. But yeah, like half-eaten wedding cake, beer bottles.
Oh, okay. So it's like a time was had. Like,
a time was had.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, I did it for a couple weddings and it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you, I really hate taking trash off the tables and trying to create a flat lay with it. I'm not a trash girl. And it's also very awkward, like finding a beer bottle and being like, hey, are you done with that?
Right,
Can I just take this?
I need that for my shot.
I need it. And people are looking at me like, what the heck? Or like people are sticking like the wedding rings inside the cake. And I'm like, ugh, I don't love this. Like they look fun. They are very fun. They're very trendy. Is it my thing? Not really. Right. If I have a bride that's like, Ashlee, I really love this. I really want it. Sure, I'll make it happen. But am I going to seek it out every single wedding? Probably not.
Yeah. My thing is throne chairs.
Oh, yeah.
So like primarily it's a lot of furniture rental.
Yeah.
And I mean, I cannot tell you, it's just one of many things that you see people wanting over and over and over again. And there's always that, for me, it's space. It's a space issue.
Yeah, they're huge.
Yeah, they're big.
They're like 8 feet tall.
Yeah, and it's not my vibe. And I always approach like, do I want to add this to my inventory, even though I know it's a hot item and people are asking for it? But like, is this really my thing? And throne chairs come up all the time.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're not really my thing either.
Yeah, the number of people that have asked me for it, which is fine. But I know some wonderful vendors that's their niche. They really specialize in that, and they've got them in multiple colors. And like, I don't have to be involved in every little aspect of the event decor industry. I feel like I try to pick and choose.
You have to also do like what makes sense for you and your business.
Yeah.
Like if you hate the throne chair, why are you going to rent it out?
Yeah.
You know, like everyone. I feel like that's a big thing in photography too. Like, oh, well, if a client likes you and they want to hire you, like just do whatever editing they want you to do. Yeah, you could. If that's like not your specialty, like why are you just going to keep playing around with everything?
See, and that you just said something interesting there, right? So you've got your own editing style. And I know some other photographers in the business and have talked to them. And I know that is a huge, that's a huge aspect of your identity as a photographer and also like your brand, to use that phrase again. It's a little different for me. I mean, if somebody rents a couch and they want to put a hideous pillow on the couch, I'm like, rock on. Yeah. Tell me where you want it. I'm dropping it off and I'm bouncing. There's not that emotional attachment to, I'm not comfortable with it looking this way or sending it out like this. It's whatever you want.
Yeah.
For you as a photographer, those pictures, they embody who you are and who and your brand as a business. Like, just how do you say no? How do you make people happy?
Very easily.
Okay.
Very
well,
easily.
that was quick.
I very easily say no.
Okay.
It has become a thing. There are a couple weddings where I have edited slightly differently because I know them very well and like they really love me and I really love them. And
there's a trust.
There is a trust, and there is that fine line that we're dancing again of like, sure, I'll do this, but I don't do it all the time. Like, I'm probably not going to post those because they don't align with my work, or I'll re-edit them. That way they get 2 sets of photos essentially.
Sure. What I'm hearing from you is this is your art form.
It is art. It's weird to say that it is, I mean, photography is art, but it's also weird to say it because you're not like straight up painting or drawing, like the traditional form of art that people think. But it is an art form because not only am I taking the image, I'm creating the image in front of me. Like I'm helping pose you and do all the things and setting the scene. And then I'm also going home and then editing it and like turning it more into art.
Yeah. What's next for you?
Oh, I don't know.
Is there something, again, because you've got a couple different, businesses
not another
here.
Business. Not another
Not
one.
adding to that. So, yeah, I mean, just within the next couple of years, what are some business goals maybe that you have?
Definitely traveling.
Okay.
I am going to Rhode Island at the end of this month.
Nice. I love Rhode Island.
I'm so excited.
Where are you going in Rhode Island?
Newport area.
I love it.
Yeah, Newport,
gorgeous.
Warwick, Providence area.
Yeah,
I mean, they're all so close. Rhode Island is like the smallest state.
Love it.
It's all so close together. It's like Delaware.
Yeah.
My best friend's turning 30 Sunday, so we're taking a little girls trip.
That's great.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. But yeah, going to every state is on my bucket list. Okay. So Rhode Island's next. Who knows what else is out there? I've been to, Hawaii and Texas and all up and down the East Coast because we're so close. But I'd love to go to like Colorado and Montana and Arizona. And
it's got to be very flattering that someone wants to work with you so much that they're like, I don't care. I'm in Texas.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Another thing I do if I've not been to your state and it's like on my bucket list or a bucket list location, I will shoot your wedding for free. Just pay travel.
Okay.
Yep. So that's super fun. Yeah. European travel is on the horizon. Okay. I would love an Italy wedding. That is definitely a goal. But yeah.
And how do you get there?
How do I get there?
Not literally like how
marketing.
Do you fly there? Yeah. Like
just marketing.
What are your plans in terms of that?
Posting about it.
Posting.
Posting about it. Maybe a TikTok or two. We'll see. Yeah. But yeah.
All right. So I want you to remind everyone where they can find you.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. So website is ashleeemersonphotography.com. Ashlee spelled with 2 E's, no Y. I'm complicated. Thank you, Mother, for naming me like that. Instagram is the same. It's just Ashlee Emerson Photography. Poppy and Prim Events is poppyandprim.events for Instagram. And then Facebook is just Poppy and Prim Events.
So I want to revisit the question that I posed at the beginning. A signature cocktail, mocktail, beverage of some sort that you feel just embodies you, your brand. There's that phrase again.
I feel like an espresso martini would be a good one. I love a good espresso teeny. Nice. And you can mix it up. Like you could do a chocolate teeny or something fun. But I feel like espresso martinis are classic. Yeah. They're timeless. They're
very rich.
They're energizing. Yeah. It's a good like nightcap. It's a good brunch drink. It's good anytime.
I love it.
Can't go wrong.
Well, I'm so glad that you sat down with me.
Me too. Thank you for asking me.
I can't wait to work with you. I mean, I feel like we've become friends over the years. And yeah, I hope that we can continue like the professional relationship as well. So
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, I like to end the podcast with a cheers. It's not really going to be like a
all
clank.
My ice is gone.
Because my glass is paper and hers is plastic, but cheers.